in case there was any question about the matter, the difference, a few examples of the difference between me and Srila Prabhupada. They got Prabhupada, Shamsundar got it in Japan. And it was one of the first self-winding wristwatches. They have a gyroscope in there. I forget what it is, but how they work. Now, my parents got one for me. Thanks, Raghu. And I am so hyperkinetic that the mainspring broke off, you know, I wound it so tight. And Srila Prabhupada, Shamsundar got an earlier version for Srila Prabhupada and stopped running. Yep. Although Prabhupada, you can ask if you see Karunda would remember. But here's Prabhupada traveling 12 times around the world. And that was 10 years? 12, I mean, you know, every 3 days, if Prabhupada was moving here and there. But he moved with such economic grace that the self-winding wrist, nothing was wasted, no time or frenetic energy. And the watch stopped. They had to get Prabhupada one with a battery, you know. Mine blew out in about a week. And they also got Prabhupada. Satsarupa Maharaj told me this. They got Prabhupada a nice pen. Got him a nice gold cross pen. And he was probably signing so many things. And they got him a nice pen. 3 years later, Satsarupa Maharaj noticed that Prabhupada, every time he'd use it, take it out of his box, open it up, slide off the rubber band, sign it, and put it back. 3 years later, he had the same pen, in or out, my friend, in or out. Same pen, same box, and the same rubber band. You know, Prabhupada was, he was focused. He didn't waste anything. Welcome back, Jugala Kishore. And I heard you're not feeling well. I'm sorry to hear that. Now, how are you feeling? The loving embrace of Mother India. You know, there's a travel poster. And I love India. Don't send me those emails. But I do. But it was a poster by the Indian Travel Bureau. And it had a beautiful picture of the Taj Mahal, all pink and orange, and the sunset and everything reflected. It was a beautiful picture. And the text was, India, land of surprise. And anybody who's been to India says, oh, they got that one right, you know. Oh, geez. Air India used to be the only airlines. Well, I'm going to get to business here. Now, we need a pair of kartals. And we don't need a drummer. Because we're going to, if you don't mind, we're going to forego any drummer because we don't have Ramapati. Prabhuji. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sing it like I sing it. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. When somebody else is singing, you can sing whatever way they want. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Channa Balava Girivanadari. Gopi Janna Balava Girivanadari. Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Prajanaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. And Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariva Jagacharya Asatedasi Shama's Divine Grace. Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kora Vaishya Vrind Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrindi Ki. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Go Gopinath Shramakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Dwarka Dham Ki. Navadip Dham Ki. Jagannathpuri Dham Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samveda Bhakti Vrindi Ki. What? What happens then? All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hey, Nimai? I was going to say that those front doors, but I don't have my glasses on yet. Is it? No? Okay, I got the wrong person. I'll save it for later. The new front door, designed by Balaram, is going to look very nice. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna Sadamo Bhagate Damiganari Bisaha Kanal Dasa Dashamesha Purano Konadodata Narayanam Maskricham Naram Chaivam Narotama Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of the age of Kali should get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study, did I say that already? Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer our respects to the personality of God in Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being. What is that? No, we're off. I didn't get much sleep last night with our neighbors, to tell you the truth. That's my default excuse. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of God in Narayan, to the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of the living with the Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So, it took us a while to get there, but we managed. So we are reading the culmination of the, well, it's not really the culmination, but it's the end of the chapter. And we'll get some of the back, in the next chapter, we'll get some of the backstory about Gajendra, the elephant. How did he wind up where he is? I mean, the Bhagavata, you want adventure, you want romance, you want villains, heroes who fall down and recover. It's all in the Bhagavatam. It's forget Shakespeare. I said romance. I think I did. Yeah. Both mundane and divine. So, we are on Canto 8, Chapter 3, Text 31. Yeah, okay. Tam tavat artam upalabhya jagan nivasa stotram nishamya divija sa samstuvadbi chando mayena garudena samuyamanash chakra yudo bhagamad ashu yato Gajendra tam tavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa stotram nishamya divijay saha samstuvadbi Chandro mayena garudena samuyamanas Chakra yudo bhagamad asu yato Gajendra tam tavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Now I have heard several different versions. And I've heard like this last word, Jagannivasa. Now, I would ordinarily say Navasaha, with a short A at the end of the thing. But I was told recently that according to fit the meter, sometimes you say the A, sometimes you don't say the A. Do you have anything definitive? Yes, Dravida Prabhu.
Yeah, those little kicking of the H with the dot on it, only at the end of the second and the fourth line, which we had two of them coming up.
Okay, so it is a fact. It's only...
It's not in the middle of the line, but only at the end.
So in the first line, it would be Nivasaha.
No. Nivasa.
Nivasa.
Yes.
All right. But however, in the second line, you would say Samstu Vadadbihi.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right then. Well, I was in New Vrindavan in 1971 for John. Prabhupada was there for Janmashtami. And yeah, it's either 71 or 72. And we were chanting a particular verse, and it mentioned offering respects to one's spiritual master. And Prabhupada kind of chuckled to himself, and he said, I know, he said, you're calling me a cow. Because it was, I don't know whether it was grow or whatever it was, but we were saying it incorrectly. And Prabhupada said, you're actually calling me incorrectly. You do, but I know that you do not mean that I'm a cow. He said, in the same way Krishna relishes the devotion, the bhakti, the love of his devotees. You can be an expert Sanskrit scholar, but if there's not, isn't there a verse in the Bible that one, it's talking about love, and it means love for the Supreme, and it says one can be all brass and loud and full of itself, but if it doesn't have love, it doesn't mean anything. So Jesus is making the point, and Krishna is making the same thing, Oh, that's another one. That's Bhavagrihi Janardana. He knows your Bhava. Okay.
Prabhu, can you use mic?
Okay. All right, we're going to roll forward. So how many times? Did we chant it one more time, myself? Okay. Tam tavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Stotram nishamya divijay saha samstuvadbi. Chandro mayena garudena sa sumuyamanash. Chakra yudobi agamad astu gathor Gajendra. I scared you all off? Yeah. Tam tavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Chando mayena garudena samayumanash. Chakra yudobhyagamad asuranitendra. Any other brave soul? Tam dhavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Sotram nishamya divija saham chutadbi. Chandro mayena garudena samuyamanash. Chakra yudobhyagamas Hendra. You know, Prabhupada, ladies, you want to try? Vaishnavis? Don't feel on the spot. Tam tavarartam upalabhya jagannivasa. Stotram nishamya divijay dvi. Chando mayena chakradena samadhimanas. Chakra yudobhyagamad asuyeto Gajendra. Tam, unto him, Gajendra. Tavat, in that way, Artam, who is very depressed because of being attacked by the crocodile. Upalabhya, understanding. Jagat Nivasa, the Lord who exists everywhere. Stotram, the prayer. Nishamya, hearing. Divijay, the denizens of the heavenly planets. Saha, with. Samstuvadbi, who are offering their prayers also. Chandomayena, with the speed he desired. Garudena, by Garuda. Samuyamana, being carried. Chakra, carrying his disc. Ayuda, and other weapons like the club. Abhigamat, arrived. Ashu, immediately. Yata, where? Gajendra, the king of the elephants. Gajendra was situated. Sorry about that. Translation. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who lives everywhere, appeared with the demigods who were offering prayers to him. Carrying his disc and his weapons, other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda with great speed, according to his desire, meaning Krishna's desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. All say, you say. After understanding the awkward condition of Gajendra, who had offered his prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, who lives everywhere, appeared with the demigods who were offering prayers to him. Carrying his disc and other weapons, he appeared there on the back of his carrier Garuda with great speed, according to his desire. Thus he appeared before Gajendra. And Prabhupada says in his purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically hints that since Gajendra was in such a difficult position and he was praying for the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods, who could have immediately gone to his rescue, hesitated to go there. Since they considered Gajendra's prayer to be directed towards the Supreme Lord, they felt offended. Why him and not us? And this in itself was offensive. Thinking like this was offensive. Consequently, when the Lord went there, they also went and offered prayers to the Lord, so their offense might be excused. Om Ganatimarandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chakshushamiltan Gina Taznadeshi Gurave Namaha. There's a joke, and I can't remember, it might have even been told by Prabhupada, but a person is drowning in the water, and they're calling, Surya, Surya, save me, save me. And Surya doesn't show up immediately. So they bail out. And then Surya is coming, hears him calling, but then he stopped calling me, so Surya takes off. So then the guy thinks, well, that didn't work. Varuna, Varuna, Varuna. Varuna starts to come, but takes him a little while. So the guy bails out on praying to Varuna and so he's praying to different demigods, but just momentarily, and ultimately he drowns. So Prabhupada tells the joke, or I heard the joke, in reference to the idea of faith. And, people have faith temporarily or situationally or based on conditions. Of course, Prabhupada's classic example is the communists after World War II, maybe even during World War II. They would say, they turn the beautiful old Russian Orthodox churches into horse stables and so many things. And they said, well, why are you going to church? The innocent people still going to church. And they say, we're going to pray for bread. We're starving. Of course, the starvation was caused by Stalin. That's another story. So they would say, okay, go into church and pray. So they would go into church and pray. And when they would come out, the communists would say, well, so, got your bread? Got your loaf of bread with you? And they'd say, no, communist friend, we don't have it. And they said, okay, ask me. And you say, Ivan, or whatever their name was, Dmitri, you say, where's the bread? And the guy with the Russian friend, the communist friend, not Russian, Russians are quite devotional. They would take but the communist friend would blow his whistle, and there'd be a truck parked around the corner. And the truck would pull around full of bread. Say, now ask me. Oh, communist friend, please give me bread. Take as much as you like. And then they would say, so who's better? Your communist friend or you're praying to God? They say, oh, you communist friend, That's how Prabhupada tells the joke. So, praying to God, but where's the faith? Where's the fixed determination? So this is, and where does that confidence come from? That firm shraddha or faith. And everything rests on faith, isn't it? Faith, then there comes, then there's Namru, and there's so many different, steady in sadhana, and then, free from anartha and nivritti. There's a progression there that brings you ultimately to prema. But it rests ultimately on that firm faith. So this verse is, and this chapter is talking about that. Remember last week we said that although Gajendra was offering prayers, he needed help. He was stuck. So, but he felt a little regret that here he is, he's a devotee, and he's asking for Krishna something material. So here in the same way, Gajendra gets back on point, and we'll explain. And this is what Prabhupada's talking about. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes this point. So that's the setup. We'll explain why are the demigods embarrassed. Why do they, we're going to get into all that, hopefully. Although we don't have much time. Imagine the scene for a second, that you've got Gajendra with this elephant wrapped around him. He's the king of the elephants. He's gold bedecked in so many things. And he was a king who'd been cursed because he was fooling around with his wives when some sages were going, and he was King Huhu was his name. And he had been cursed, oh, you want to fool around with women? Become an elephant. Sport as much as you like. And even though he'd lost his position, he'd again fallen into illusion. He'd again thought, oh, I'm the king of the elephants and I'm enjoying and so many things. And then what happens? Snap. He's got a crocodile on his leg, and no one can help him. So but just imagine this scene. You've got the Krishna's appearing with Garuda, flying in. He's got all the demigods flying with him, offering prayers. You've got the elephant king, covered with, the whole thing is just, it's wonderful. It's an amazing, God is great, but Prabhupada says, but they don't know how he's great. Or they accept some yogi that can make a little ash or a little bit of gold or make a cupcake or, whatever it is. And they give him a bunch of, but here's the real situation, And Prabhupada, it mentions and I remember Prabhupada saying this, that for the devotees, Krishna's got 4 hands. He's got in 2 hands, he's got one type of weapons. In the other 2 hands, he's got another type of weapon. So Prabhupada said for the devotees, he's got his nice shankha, a nice conch, beautiful, sweet sound, and he has lotus flower. So it's very nice. And then Prabhupada said for the demons, chopping and cutting. Krishna's got his club and his chakra. So whatever we get depends on how we relate to Krishna. We get what we expect, what we relate to. So the Prabhupada mentions that Gajendra didn't actually know, and this is a logical, this is an argument against blind faith. I remember in elementary school when we divide up in teams, and sometimes we divide as Republicans and Democrats. And I didn't know what a Democrat was. I didn't know what I'm in first grade, you know. But I knew my parents. It's a long story. But so, you know, each would pick according to their parents, and they would just follow. You know, why are they fighting? Of course, they've solved it now, it appears to be. In Ireland, well, they were Protestant, and you were Catholic. Why are they fighting? Oh, you're Muslim, I'm Jewish, you know. But it's just a social custom that they inherited. Now here we have, Gajendra wasn't actually sure exactly who was God. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You've got Shiva, you've got Brahma. It's, you know, you could understand being a little not quite certain who's who. But Gajendra got it right because without knowing the name, he knew the qualities. You know, you could say what. He didn't know who, but he knew what. These are the criteria for being Krishna, so for being God. And Prabhupada makes that point that of all the, if giving the prayers that Gajendra was making, there was only one personality that fit the criteria. So if we know the criteria, then we can know the person. You know, I mean, somebody could say they're the president, but, you know, when they give everybody a pardon or whatever they do, oh, then he's got the power of God. So what is it, Ashramudha? Which, you know, Ashramudha means that no one is greater than or equal to. Yeah. So that's the meaning of God. No one is equal to or greater than. So when you find that personality that no one is equal to or greater than, then you found God. Now it's an interesting juxtaposition that first off, you should know, like we talk about Sarvadharma Prityaja, you give up all external religions and come to the ultimate position. The essence of religion is free from all upadis, from all designations, this faith, that faith, but do you actually love the cause of all causes, that personality who no one is equal to or greater than? And what is the manifestation of love? Are you offering service? Are you serving that Supreme Personality and developing love? That's religion. So it's not who, but what. What process actually helps you develop love of God? And do you know what the qualification of God is? Because he's got a beard and saffron cloth, or can make you a little Sai Baba, and I did say his name, Sai Baba would make these little plastic jewels with him inside. Or he'd make a little ash that got rid of your headache. Hey, you run out of Tylenol, it could be handy, you know. So that's not what God is. You have to know. If you want to have love, you have to, so there. However, it reverses itself in Vrindavan. Here, you have to know what, then you can determine who. But do the residents of Vrindavan love Krishna because of what he is? Because he's the cause of all causes? Because all the demigods offer him respects? Because the gopis, when they're searching after Krishna, they find Narayan, they say, oh, very good to see you, please offer our dandavats. They offer some prayers. And then they say, now, can you help us find Krishna? You know? So that's, in Vrindavan, the mood is not who but what. There's that chapter in Bhagavad Gita, not what but who. I got it backwards. What but who. You know, they love, there's a chapter in Gita which is called Wonderful Krishna. I meant Krishna book, yeah. There's a chapter in Krishna book, Wonderful Krishna, and it's just, why does Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda and the gopis and the coward, they come home in the evening and say, oh, Krishna did this and he did that, and it's just wonderful. So that's the mood of Vrindavan. But outside of that, one should know what are the qualifications, the qualities of genuine religion and a full understanding. So, Gajendra, one of the things he concluded by logic. Logic has its place. Prabhupada said the intelligence is the next door neighbor of the self. Logic has its place. And Prabhupada says in an earlier purport leading up to this, he says that Gajendra, by logic and reason, figured out there could only be one supreme controller. Again, he wasn't exactly who that was. I mean, you could mistake Brahma, you could mistake Shiva for, if you only had partial knowledge. So one of the things that Gajendra concluded that there must be one God is there must be one controller. There must be a supreme controller. And Prabhupada expands, and if you think about it, what if there were two gods, and each had their own system of gravity, of their own law of physics? What if it only, when Dravida is God, then gravity starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. But when Swamiji is God, it doesn't start till noon. Well, and only on Wednesdays. Can you imagine if there were two controllers, two systems of time? What to speak of 3 or 4? Somebody's got to. Bill Gates built one of the most expensive houses in the world, and it was all computerized. And let this be a lesson for you, brahmacharis. And whatever room he walked into, the artwork, because it's all computer, graphics and screens and things, would change to his choice of artwork. Whatever he liked the temperature to be at, windows would open, windows would close, AC would go on, AC would go off. So everything was climate controlled, the lighting, everything. Literally, when he walked in, he controlled the universe. He had some sensor on him and it had been pre-programmed and all of that. But that's how his world worked. When he got married, what had to happen? What happens when he walks in and he likes 68 degrees and his wife likes 70? Does the computer system blow a gear? Well, along with the theme of there being only one controller, what can we conclude? Yeah, he had his pin. When he was the only one with the pin or in the room, then fine, everything, the universe modified to his desires. But ultimately, he had to set his pin as subordinate to hers. So there has to ultimately be one control. You can't have two laws of physics, two systems of time, two systems of gravity. I mean, ultimately, by logic, we can understand there has to be a supreme controller who no one is greater than or equal to. So logic does have its place. Okay? What else did I want to say? Again on this point of Krishna, it describes how he appeared on Garuda with the demigods offering prayers and the king of the... just a fantastic scene. And Krishna arrived as he traveled the speed he desired. So what's something we can draw from that part of Gajendra's logic to understanding there's one supreme, and that must be the Supreme Lord? So when Krishna, Prabhupada points out, that because Prabhupada used to read Krishna book to us in the evening. He used to give Gita class in the evening in LA 1969 and 70. He'd read Gita, he'd give Bhagavatam class in the morning and Gita class in the evening. And when he would read from then Krishna book arrived. And then Prabhupada instead would read Krishna book in the evening. And he would add his own details from the Garuda, from the Gargamuni, what is it? Garga Samhita. From the Garga Samhita would end, because there's Krishna Lila throughout the Puranas and Samhitas and things. So he would add stuff. Of course, we're not sure that that's necessarily I'm going to go out on a limb here. For example, Prabhupada made these fantastic luglus. And we're talking with the bundi, like little Rice Krispies and dried fruit, and dates cooked just the right degree with the sugar syrup so that they're chewy. They're not sticky or tacky. They were dry to your touch, but they were juicy. They were you have to be a fantastic cook to even get close. Govardhan could make them right. It's one of the kings of sweets. So Prabhupada made them one day, and he had a bowl of them. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me this personally. So Prabhupada, he would take a sweet. Sometimes he'd have gulab jamun, sometimes he'd have a jalebi, sometimes he would have these luglus. So today was Luglu Day, and Tamal made up some excuse to go see Prabhupada, but he was really after a luglu. And he said, "Oh, Prabhupada," he said, "it's out of this world." He said, "I've never tasted anything like that." And Prabhupada was walking back, patting his way, his pink lotus feet, walking back to the kitchen. And Prabhupada said back over his shoulder, "Oh, that's Mother Yasoda's recipe." No explanation. How does Prabhupada know Mother Yasoda's recipe? That just sparks a whole train of... And Prabhupada just he wasn't bragging. He wasn't, He just threw it off. "Oh, it's Mother Yasoda's recipe." So Prabhupada would add details. Now we're assuming they're from the other Samhitas or somewhere. And there's all kinds of, what is it? I'm tired, but Rupa Goswami's Padyavali. Yeah, with, it's his jewel, his nectar book of, wonderful qualities and pastimes and this and that. And, he puts them all, puts a lot of them in the nectar of devotion like that. So, now what was I going to say? So Prabhupada was reading Krishna book in the evening. Krishna travels at his own speed, in his own way. Krishna doesn't have to, because somebody wants this, I have to do that. So when Krishna, Prabhupada's reading, and it's Aristasura, the bull demon. So Prabhupada says that he, how a bull will scratch in the, pawing at the ground and snorting and getting ready to go, right? Krishna arrives on the scene to take care of him. And Prabhupada says that the Aristasura started running towards Krishna. But what did Krishna do first? Tied his belt. Prabhupada says like a theatrical actor. Krishna was expert at drama. So I was thinking Krishna doing things in his own time, in his own speed. So that's an example. He ties it and lets him have it, And what's another example like that? Can anyone think of it? I can think of two. I'll give you a hint. Other than you're out of the game. It's too easy for you. Did Krishna, when he was captured, ostensibly, or in quotes, by the Kaliya demon, and everyone, Mother Yasoda's just inconsolable. So, did Krishna immediately free himself? He bought it. No, he waited. He even appeared to have unconscious or passed out. And he brought the thing to a fever pitch. Then he gets up and starts dancing on the Kaliya serpent. Or we have the example of Rukmini. Did he appear immediately on the scene? No. He arranged the time, she'd give, Prabhupada says, being a king's daughter. She was expert at politics. So, subtly or subliminally put into her letter, there was, at this time I'm going to be alone, and at this time I'm going to be outside my father's care. When I'm coming back from the temple from worshiping Durga, that's the time to capture me, But he waited till the last minute. She didn't see him anywhere. She saw the messenger. So she thought, well, that's a good sign. Either that or he just gave up, But she was completely in anxiety. Then he snatched her like a lion takes away from jackals, Prabhupada says. So Krishna works in his own way, at his own speed, for his own purposes. It's not going to be, you got to give it to me now. Maybe it's not good to give it to you now. So that's an example of Krishna moving at his own speed, as in his own desire. And I think I'm going to say one more thing, and then we're going to... let's say this. The Gajendra, having concluded, Gajendra was feeling badly about his prayer, that please save me materially. And for a material thing, go to the demigods. Krishna describes the whole thing in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter. You want something material? Hey, here's who you go to. Here's how, and the demigods can give you a limited result for a material thing. I'll make your faith firm. You do it, and you'll get what you want. You'll get it. Don't bother me, but you'll get what you want. You run along and get your little trinket. So the point is that if we worship, the demigods are there, and they can worship a myriad array of material happiness, material problems. But what is the nature of material problems? Are they singular events? You solve one and the problems, it's all over? What is the very nature of this? There's always, it was a miseries caused by other living entities, miseries caused by the mind and body. So, what have I forgotten? Material nature, other living entities, natural, anyway, but the mind and body also. So, there's always, as they say in Italy, according to Madhusevata Prabhu, my GBC friend, one of a number by Krishna's grace, he says there's always a rock in your shoe. If there's a rock in your shoe, you can't really, you can't get it out of your mind. It's, you may try to forget it for a moment. You put one out, another rock. So there's always something in this material world. But if we go to Krishna, they're all solved. So the conclusion, the takeaway, what is it? Whoever Krishna wants to kill, no one can save. Who Krishna wants to save, no one can kill. Prabhupada says it's a Bengali saying. So what I was thinking, at the end of all this, because we're at the end of the chapter, Gajendra, the lesson that Gajendra finally learned, he'd forgot, just like a Jamil, forgot everything in spite of his good training. Bharat Maharaj, Prabhupada said he was one step away from Bhava. And he forgot everything. And he, chasing out, became a deer. So Gajendra forgot everything. He forgot once, and became cursed to become an elephant, and even as an elephant, he forgot again. So the point is, there's always going to be problems. Unless what? Unless I get out of this world. It's a never-ending stream of problems, and you can, but if we want the one thing, Prabhupada gives the example, if I have a sledgehammer, suppose I have a nail here, and I got a dinky little kid's toy, okay, a hammer, kid's hammer. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Did it even move? Tap, 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 You come along with a sledgehammer, you wham, that thing's driven right through the wood. So Prabhupada said that if we need to, Krishna's the only shelter. The demigods can't solve my problems. He's got the demigods there, he's got Krishna there. He's figured, I don't want to recap the whole thing. But the point is that Krishna's the only shelter, something we can take away from this, and the only shelter, the only relief is go back home, back to Godhead. So that's a walk away we can take with us from Gajendra. Krishna's the only shelter, and the only shelter is to get out of this world. Nothing else, it's a waste of time. Okay, Prabhus, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.